Nanda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Chandra Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Chandra.
So that's offering a prayer offering respect to Lord Caitanya and his associates, Nityananda, Advaita, and then all the devotees, all the other devotees. I mean, mention that a few of the main ones, Lord Caitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita, and all the rest. We don't want to ignore all the rest. So that's Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, means, and all the others. All the other Gaura Bhaktas, so devotees of Lord Caitanya, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, all of them. So yeah, we're continuing our reading of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya-lila, chapter 19, entitled The Lord Instructs, Srila Rupa Goswami. We'll start from 2, 3, 5, I think it is, but we'll just recap. 2, 3, 5 we're up to. We'll just recap, because we're finishing this section now also of talking about the different rasas in the spiritual world. So yeah, we just heard about the Madhurya rasa, the highest of the rasas, the conjugal loving relationship with Krishna. And then it explained how that each rasa you're adding on an extra quality to the previous ones. So now I'd like to ask Narendra what he remembers. So it was interesting, and then it mentions 233. It says all the material qualities evolve one after another in the material elements, beginning from ether, which means space. By gradual evolution, first one quality develops, then two qualities develop, then three and four, and until all five qualities are found in earth. So how is this verse describing the five main material elements, and how, as each element gets more grosser towards earth, the final one, you're getting another quality? So how does that relate to the rasas? Can you remember, Narendra?
Yeah, I think similarly, what happens is that Shantras is the first ras, where you basically the devotee is more connected to the Paramatma feature of the Lord, I think. And then it comes to second one is, I think.
But there's two qualities with Shantaras, two qualities.
One quality is that they are detached, or they are not materially detached, and the first one was?
They are materially detached, yeah.
And then the first one was they attached to the Paramatma,
or Brahman, yeah. So they don't necessarily know Krishna at that point, but they're attached to God.
Yeah.
They have some idea about God, maybe the Brahman feature of God, maybe Paramatma feature of God. So they're attached to God and they're detached from the material world. So those are the two qualities of Shantaras. Then next
is, I think, Dasya Ras, where you have Dasya Ras, where you basically have all the qualities of the Shantras, plus you are have serve the God. You have the serving attitude. You are more you have more gratitude and reverence, basically. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
So basically,
Narendra's just recapping on what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
So in Dasiras, you have both the qualities of the Shantaras as well as the service attitude towards the Lord.
And service with what mood?
Service with awe and reverence. I mean,
it's yes, with awe and reverence. Yeah, very important.
So you basically, what that means is basically you don't think, you think Lord as very powerful, he can do everything, and you are dependent on him, all those, and he's got all the qualities which are there in him, which are basically in real great qualities. So the person in Dasya basically is have service attitude, and it's not very close in terms of relationship. I mean, it's not very intimate. It's not intimate because of that. God is very powerful, and I'm nothing. So it's kind of a reverence. And the third one is, I think, is the what do you call that? Friendly, or what's the word?
Sakya.
Sakya has both the qualities, Dasya as well as the Shantras. So it's basically what's happening here, adding qualities, and you're going to the next one. In friendly relationship, the awe and reverence is not there. So you have kind of intimate relationship. So they are on top of his shoulder, or he's going on top of his shoulder. Those kind of friendly relationship. And then from there, then that the Vatsalya Ras is there, where you take care of the your people under you, or the son or daughter, whatever the son. So you have all the qualities of Shantras, the Dasyaras and the Sakyaras in the Vatsalyaras. So there you basically, the word is Palan. I think they take care of.
Protecting, maintaining. Maintaining and protecting. Palana.
And how would you say that when you say Sakyaras would be there? What will be an example of that? I mean, parents being Sakya. Sometimes, parents basically play with their kid as if they are,
That's right. So there is definitely a friendship between the parents and the children. Definitely. So that friendship mode would come up too. But then, sometimes there's that mode of protection, and that I'm maintaining you. So that wouldn't be there in Sakyaras. So you've got the Sakyaras manifesting sometimes, but also that Palana of Vatsalya is there, all the time.
The final Shringaras have all the rases, from Shantras, Dasya, Sakya, and Vatsalyas. Everything is there in the Shringaras. Another question is, how is the Vatsalya and the friendship in Shringaras comes in? Example of that would be, I don't know, I mean, Krishna and Gopi playing together. Would you say that it's got some taste of Sakyaras in there, or I don't know?
Well, I mean, definitely, if you got two lovers, there's definitely a very deep friendship there also. There's a very deep friendship there also.
It's necessarily not just playing, right? It's
not necessarily just playing, but a feeling of equality and friendship there. So I mean, hopefully in the material world also, a couple is hopefully have a very deep friendship like that, and you reveal your mind to your friend, right? That's something you do. You when you have a close relationship with someone like that, you reveal your mind to those you consider like equals, your equals like that. So, and the other person hears what you're saying confidentially, and they express their how they can help or whatever as well. So there's a lot of those principles of friendship there in a conjugal loving relationship also. And and like eating together and things like that, and all the things that friends do, and a shoulder to cry on, like that is what friends do. A friend in need is a friend indeed, right? So hopefully a couple is, having all those principles there also. But what's the added quality of conjugal rust that's not in the other ones?
I think it's the love. I mean, I think more intimate. It's highly intimate. I mean,
getting close, getting warm.
Prema.
The body.
The body.
You're using your body. Using the body. And like I mentioned, I gave some examples. You in conjugal love, you can massage the person, and there's hugging and kissing and so many things, and putting chandan, sandalwood pulp, sometimes the Krishna's wife Rukmini will put chandan on Krishna's head, or like that Radharani will put chandan like that. So and the other ones, you're not doing that, like that. There's not so much that very
But in Vatsalya
personal
also
service.
there'll be hugging and kissing.
Yeah, that's in a different way, I guess.
A different way of hugging and kissing.
Different kind of hugging and kissing.
Different sentiment. Yeah.
Different feelings.
Yeah.
Different feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to ask what are the activities of Vatsalya Ras in Sringaras? So it's like, you take care of your wife or wife take care of you. Sometimes you're sick.
Of course, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you're protecting your wife from somebody or something. So that,
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of activities basically.
Is there also. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, so Shringa Ras is like full of flavors, full of rasas. So many different flavors there. But my question was to you, how does all this discussing different rasas with the qualities of different rasas relate to this 238, which talks about the material elements and the qualities of the material elements? So what's the connection
I
between
think
talking about the
I
qualities
think
that
it's
material elements have and
it's kind of an analogy. I think it's
yeah,
Bhagavad creation somewhere that the five elements, they have similar relationship. I think, I don't know the hierarchy. I don't remember what comes first. I think ether comes first, which creates
Hmm.
sense of
Mm.
smell or something you were telling me. So it's accumulating, and at the end, I think earth has everything, or
yeah, Earth
yeah,
has everything. Yeah.
it's kind of an analogy which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Can you repeat that analogy? I mean, you were saying that, it starts with
Yes.
ether, beginning from ether, yeah.
Yeah, beginning with ether, and then when you go to when you come to air, so from space, then you come to air. So when you come to air, then you add one quality, sound. One quality of sound. And then when you come from air to fire, then you've got sound
And you will
plus form, rupa, plus form. And then when you come from fire to water, you've got sound, form, plus
touch.
touch, plus touch. And then when you come from water to earth, then you've got all those previous ones, plus taste, plus taste. So just as
Ether
each,
one is the smell, right? The ether one, the smell, isn't it?
no.
But then where's the smell? That's
Oh,
how
sorry. No, I mean smell. Yeah, so earth has smell. Yeah, earth has smell.
earth has smell. What does
Yeah,
ether have?
nothing. Nothing. There's no
There is no.
because these are the sense objects. They're called sense objects, visaya. There's indriya, the senses, and each sense has a visaya, indriya and visaya. So each indriya sense has a sense object. So the sense object of the ears is sound. Sense object of the eyes is form. Of the nose is smell. Of the tongue is taste. Of the hands is touch. Like that. So these elements have different.
But see,
Um,
I just have a clarification. So there's
hmm,
ether, air,
yeah.
fire.
Yep.
Ether, air, fire,
Water.
water, earth.
Hmm.
So ether will have.
So water would have been you're adding on taste. I think it would have been taste. You're
Yeah.
adding on the quality of taste. And then earth has got the quality of smell.
If
Yeah.
earth's got the quality of smell, water has taste, fire's got form.
But remember, each consecutive one has all the qualities of the previous ones plus one more.
Yeah, so the first one you said has nothing. But there are
Space,
five.
no. I know, but space doesn't have this. You can't see space, you can't taste it, you can't touch it, you can't smell it. There has no sense object. The sense object comes when you go from space to air. So now you've got air, you've got one. So there's added one when you come to air. Like that. Comprende?
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
we understand this, that it's
So
got
that,
similar.
yeah. So it's an analogy for just like you're adding on an extra quality as you get to the more grosser, from the subtle to gross elements, and the same way as you go from one rasa to the next, you're adding on an extra quality. So that's an analogy for how the qualities can develop, like that. So then, and then in 234, Lord Caitanya says, similarly on the platform of conjugal love, all the feelings of the devotees are amalgamated. The intensified taste is certainly wonderful, chamatkara. So full of different tastes, full of wonderful feelings, so many feelings as you go up to conjugal love. All different flavors, all different feelings there. However, I would like to say, although, that Madhurya Ras is full of flavor and feelings and tastes and everything. However, whatever your rasa is with Krishna, your relationship in the spiritual world, you're completely satisfied with that. So if your a relationship with Krishna is in Shantaras and you're a tree in the spiritual world or something, you're completely satisfied. Or if you're a peacock or a cow or a blade of grass or a coward boy or, parent or whatever, whatever your form is in your service, you're completely satisfied with that service. It's completely satisfying. Krishna just reciprocates just perfectly with every single devotee, every individual devotee in the spiritual world. He just perfectly satisfies all his devotees. So they're all completely happy with whatever their position is. Although if we do look at it analytically, like we're doing now, we can see that, wow, the Madhurya Ras has got so many tastes and flavors, that's like the best. But although we can do that, but at the same time, even if you're on Shanta Ras, still completely happy. The living entity is completely happy with that. If you're Krishna's bed in the spiritual world, which is an example of Shantaras, then you're completely happy being Krishna's bed, and Krishna's going to lie down on you, and you're in complete ecstasy like that. Or if you're Krishna's driver, his servant, driving him around from A to B, you're completely in ecstasy to be doing that. So it's not that they're thinking, oh, I wish I was a gopi or a Radharani or anything. No, they're all completely satisfied. Mm. Mm.
So can you be Krishna's flute?
Sure. There is multiple devotees, because Krishna has many flutes. He's got a short flute, a longer flute, and then a more longer, and one made of bamboo, and one made of something else, and one with jewels and different things like that. So he's got many flutes. So they're all an eternal personality.
Somebody asked a flute, what have you done in your past? You are so close to Krishna's lips.
The gopis. Yeah, the gopis are completely jealous of Krishna's flute.
Somebody asked a flute, what have you done? The flute says that it was a very, very hard journey. It's like I've been, cut that from there and then scrap it out, and they put the hole in my body. They put everything in order to get that to close the lips of the Krishna. It was not that easy.
Yeah.
So there was a flute's journey.
Some austerity is required, some sacrifice,
deep sacrifice in order to get Krishna's closer to that. You need that. You want to close to the sun, you get ready to burn. There's no other way.
Yeah, so fortunate.
Very, very deep.
Hmm.
Okay, what number was this?
Yep. So now we'll go on to today's one, 235, 19, chapter 235. Hey Bhakti Rasira Karilana Digdarashana Ihara Vistara Mane Kariha Bhavana.
Hey Bhakti Rasir Karilana Digdarshana Ihara Vistara Mane Karihi Bhavana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then concluded, I have simply given a general survey describing the mellows of devotional service. You can consider how to adjust and expand this.
So Lord Chaitanya has just given a synopsis, you know, just in a nutshell. It's so vast, this subject of rasas and all the other subjects he's explained before this is so vast. So this is a conversation Lord Chaitanya spoke to Rupa Goswami for over 10 days in Prayag. So this is where the conversation was taking place. So he's offloading all this essential information. And then what he wants is that Rupa Goswami to then expand it, and expand it in the form of, like, one example is the Nectar of Devotion, which Prabhupada translated, which is in Sanskrit called the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is an expansion of that, you know, the very nutshell information that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has just presented, what we've been reading for so many months. That Lord Chaitanya is then going to go to Vrindavan. We're going to hear how he's going to go to Vrindavan, and then he's going to write it. You know, he's going to write it down like that and expand it like that. Okay, next one. Bhavite Krishna Spuhuraye Antare Krishna Kripaya Agnapaya Rasa Sindhu Pare.
Bhavite Krishna Supreme.
Krishna Kripaya Rasa Sindhu Pare.
We can read that. Yeah.
When one
read.
thinks Krishna constantly, love for him manifests within the heart. Even though one may be ignorant, one can reach the far shore of the ocean of transcendental love by Lord Krishna's mercy.
So if we want to develop love for Krishna, what do we need to do?
Think of him.
Think of it like, you know, doesn't matter. I don't even know how to, you know, speak Sanskrit, but still I can reach to that far transcendental ocean. At least I'm trying. But Krishna can see, Gulshan is trying. Doesn't matter if he doesn't speak
even
properly.
if we're agya means without any knowledge, ignorant.
Yeah. So
Gyan is knowledge, and the opposite is agyan or agya.
Yeah.
So without any knowledge. So even a person without any knowledge.
At least I'm trying. So Krishna said, yeah, that's good enough. Trying, good enough.
Yeah. So this is the secret of developing love for Krishna, is to think of Krishna constantly. Now the question is, what's the easiest and best way to think of Krishna constantly?
Chanting the
Yeah. Chanting is a very wonderful process for remembering Krishna. Obviously, you're saying the name Krishna, saying Hare, saying Rama, then naturally you'll be remembering, you know, Hare and Krishna and Rama. Rama is, as a name for Krishna, means he's the source of all pleasure. He's the reservoir of all pleasure. You could be thinking of Rama as in Lord Ramachandra. Actually, Prabhupada said that the Rama in the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra can refer to Balarama, Lord Ramachandra, or Parashurama even. There's Rama and Parashurama. So, but generally, you know, it's understood as you're referring to Krishna, who is the source of all pleasure, who's the reservoir of all pleasure. Because that's a different rasa if you're going to be looking at Rama or Parashurama like that. It's a different rasa, but doesn't really matter.
But Rama doesn't say that he's a supreme personality of Godhead, or you know, he just simply that his father says go to the forest, and he just took his wife and went to the forest. But he say anything like the way the Krishna says everybody emanates from me and end up with me, and all the knowledge that we got that. But Rama doesn't mention anything, means I'm the one, cause of every cause.
He was acting as the perfect king, the perfect king. So he was acting in that role. And in a perfect in all relationship, as the perfect son, like you said, when his father gave an order to go to the forest, he immediately, followed his father's direction. But I mean, Krishna was also acting out different roles. He first of all in Vrindavan acted like a cowherd boy, and then when he went to Mathura and Dwarka, he acted like a king. So and he acted like a perfect husband with his 16,108 wives and Dwarka. So they're all acting out different human, you could say, human-like roles. Mainly why? Why does God, when he comes to the material world, we call that avatar. I heard Prabhupada talk about it today. When one comes from a personality come from the spiritual world to the transcendental world to the material world, that's called avatar. One who's descending. So why, when God comes to the material world, why does he display, human-like qualities and relationships like that? What is the purpose of
I think it's basically to set example, I think, because otherwise if he comes as a God, nobody is going to, he's God. We are different from him. So if you're basically not setting an example, and I think it's a good example, Ram, as Gulshan said, he lead by example. He was not preaching anybody anything, but he was showing, he's living life, showing them how to live. Basically, it's by living by example rather than preaching them. Krishna in both. He was preaching Arjuna and also showing what's the right way. But Ram was basically living by example.
That's absolutely true. But there is one reason, even more important, why Krishna acts in what seems to be ordinary human-like roles as like a friend or a child or a lover or so forth. These different rasas.
Because he wants to enjoy those mellows.
Correct. But is Krishna just thinking about his own enjoyment?
No, he also wants to reciprocate with the devotees who want to have those mellows.
That's it. You hit it on the button. That Krishna acts in these different roles, and also Lord Ram does with his devotees like Hanuman and Dasharatha and like that, to please his devotees. His main purpose, God's main purpose, is to please his devotees. And I'll tell you, of all of Krishna's transcendental qualities, it's said this is the best one. Bhakta Vatsalya. He's always he's so affectionate to his devotees. He's always will do anything to please his devotees. You want to have me as a son? Okay, I'll be your son. You want to have me as a friend? I'll be your friend. You want to have me as a lover? I'll be your lover. He just loves to please his devotees. And he gets enjoyment from pleasing his devotees. So he becomes like just a puppet in their hands. Whatever way they want to relate with him, he'll be that, for them. It's so sweet. It's so sweet. And I was hearing in Brihat Bhagavatamrita, which was by Rupa Goswami's brother, Sanatana Goswami, that Krishna actually plays similar roles in the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha, similar roles as to what he does when he comes to earth in the material world. And it's like, why would he do that? Why would he be acting as a king in the spiritual world? Why would he be acting as as
Boy. Well, he's a
a
coward.
child or whatever like that in the spiritual world? But it's the same principle. He just he just gives an opportunity to his devotees to have the relationship that they want. So even in the spiritual world, he'll act like a king in some places and like be protecting the citizens, protecting the devotees. But why would you need to protect the devotees in the spiritual world? There's no demons. So although there's no demons in the spiritual world, but still Krishna plays that role that he does in the material world where there are demons, but he still plays that same role in the spiritual world because there are devotees that want to feel the Lord's protection, even though there's no one to be protected from.
So
But
does
this
that mean those devotees are thinking, oh, they are in anxiety and they're thinking, oh, there's some demon around?
No, that wasn't mentioned, but still they just love that Krishna's, maintaining them and protecting them, and that's the relationship they want to have, so Krishna knows that. He knows what you want, and he'll play that role exactly and perfectly like that.
Mm.
So that's far out. Krishna's is so personal, so personal. He reciprocates exactly according to the mentality of the devotee, and whatever the devotee is meditating on, that I want to have a relationship with God in this way, then Krishna or Ram will exactly fulfill that desire, whatever way you want. Like that's amazing. I'll give you one example from just 500 years ago with one of Lord Chaitanya's associates. One associate was Gopal Bhatta Goswami, so one of the six Goswamis, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And he had these Shalagram Shilas. Even how he got the Shalagram Shilas was just so far out. He got the inspiration to go to the Gandaki River in Nepal, where the Shalagrams are found. It's the only place on earth where the Shalagram is there in the river there, Gandaki River. And he was just bathing in the river. He has a pot for, putting water on himself. And he picked up the pot out of the water, and there was all the shalagrams in there, stones in there. So he carefully took them out of the pot, put them back in the water. Then he dipped his pot again, and the stones came back in. So he did this about 3 or 4 times, and they kept coming, and he couldn't get rid of them. He couldn't get rid of them. So he figured out that Krishna wants to come with him. So he ended up taking these Shalagram Shilas back to home in Vrindavan, and he was worshipping them. And then one man was inspired by his bhakti, so he gave him some deity paraphernalia, some clothes, some jewelry and clothes. But how are you going to use jewelry and clothes on shalagram, which is like a stone shape, like that? So he in his heart, he was desiring, oh Krishna, I wish that you would manifest your beautiful form so that I can offer these nice articles to you, nice clothing and stuff. And so the next day, he woke up and went to his shalagrams, his deities, and one of the shalagrams had a Nrsingadev shalagram had turned into Krishna. Had turned into Krishna. So, and it's regarded as the most perfect form of Krishna. Even some deities that said their feet are perfect. Some deities have said their waist is perfect, some their head is perfect. But with this is called Radha Ramana. So Radha Ramana, it's said from his feet to the top of his head is completely perfect proportions and everything. And if you look closely, the deity is only like so high. It's only about, Jayanti, how high would Radha Ramana be? About 20
1
centimeters
foot.
high?
Yeah.
About 20 centimeters high. Very small deity. But if you look closely, you can see the teeth.
Yeah.
No, you don't see that with any deities, any teeth. But
He's
he's
smiling.
smiling so much, a beautiful smile, that you can see a little bit of his teeth there. It's an extraordinary deity. And he was the only deity of all the six Goswamis about 500 years ago that was able to stay in Vrindavan when the Muslims were invading and destroying temples and that. Because he was so small, he was easy to hide. Where the other deities were like 4 or 5 foot tall, you couldn't hide them. They had to take them to Jaipur. They had to take them to Jaipur where the Kshatriya kings were very powerful. The Muslims couldn't get in there. So all the Vrindavan deities, except for Radharamana, were taken to Jaipur and Karoli and other places in Rajasthan so they could be safe from the Muslims. But Radharamana remained in Vrindavan. And you can go there today and you can see this beautiful deity of Radharamana like that. But it just shows, how the Lord knows what's in your heart. Okay, this devotee wanted to worship him with 2 hands and 2 legs and everything like that, carrying the flute. And so the shalagram turned into that form just to fulfill his desire. How about that for personalism? He exactly knows what we're meditating on, and he'll reciprocate in that way. So very sweet. Very sweet.
So when the Muslim Empire just demolishing the temples, but the devotees was worshipping those temples, what like Krishna couldn't protect, or what? Why would they happen and Krishna let them happen?
I mean, there's many things that Krishna lets happen, but not necessarily Krishna wants them to happen, but he lets them to happen. And I mean, that's just the way of the material world, especially in Kali Yuga, people are so demoniac, so irreligious like that. I mean, even Vrindavan, right? When Krishna was personally present 5,000 years ago, right? There's demons attacking there pretty much every day. Even the God is personally present, but there's the demons always attacking. So just becoming Krishna conscious doesn't necessarily mean there's not going to be any more problems. But what changes is how you respond to the problems. Like when these demons were attacking Vrindavan, what would all the devotees do? Very fearful situation, everything like that. What did the devotees do?
You'll remember God. That's what he's going to do.
They call it Amma, Appa, Mata, Pita. No, they call out Krishna. Call out to Krishna. Police, help me. Government, help me. No, they call out to Krishna to help them. When the forest fire was coming around them, when they're surrounded by forest fire, they call out Krishna, save us.
The thing is, but hasn't helped. They they demolish all the temple. They must be crying loud for Krishna, but
yeah,
it didn't help or anything. Like it's
but how can you say it didn't help? I mean, the building is important, or you're like it's saying here, you're thinking about Krishna all the time is important.
Building.
And does this verse say if you live in a temple, then you'll develop love for Krishna? Not saying if you think of Krishna constantly, you'll develop love for Krishna. So you think of
temple,
isn't that then a very good situation for you thinking of Krishna constantly if you're in difficulty? If you're in a very fearful situation, then you're going to be thinking about Krishna even more. So, and those other people that are demolishing the temple, well, they're just demons, and Krishna's giving them some opportunity to have their free choice also, and then of course when they die or whatever, they're going to suffer because they destroyed the temple or disturbed the devotees or whatever. So they're going to get their just desserts like that, and also the devotees are forced by that circumstance to take more shelter of Krishna, to really call out to Krishna more. I mean, you can look in the first canto Bhagavatam. I don't know if Narendra remembers. There's a prayer, one chapter, the prayers of Queen Kunti, and in there, one of those prayers is that I pray that these calamities happen again and again, because then you'll be with us and we can remember you. Because what happened was, the beginning of Pandava's lives was one calamity after another. The Kauravas were trying to kill them so many times, burn the house down, poison them, whole war and everything, fighting, killing, and everything like that. And then Krishna was always there. In all those different situations, Krishna was there to help them. And then when the war was over and Yudhisthira was the king of the world and everything, and then Krishna said, "I'll see you later. I'm going back to Dwarka." And then Kunti said, "This is terrible. Now that things are going good, you're going. When everything was going bad, you were there with us. And now it's all going good. We don't need you anymore, and you're going. I wish there would be more difficulties, like that." So yeah, it's not necessarily, the sign of Krishna's presence is everything goes smoothly, but the sign of Krishna's presence is that, you're always thinking about him, you're always remembering him and everything like that. So, and yeah, we made the wrong turn to come into the material world. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be so many problems. But if you remember Krishna, then you're going to develop love for Krishna and go back to Godhead. I mean, I just heard the news that one devotee in Radhakund, so Radhakund is the best place in Vrindavan. It said the most spiritually potent place in Vrindavan is Radhakund. So some gundas, dacoits, means thieves, came to his house and tied him up and then killed him, and then took all the gold, jewelry off his deities and left. So they came and took all the gold and whatever valuables were there, killed him, and then left like that. And we might hear that and sort of lose faith, well, why didn't Krishna protect? And it was in Vrindavan, why didn't Krishna protect him in Vrindavan? He's a devotee, why didn't Krishna protect him? And then they also did some harm to the deities, took all the jewelry of the deities. Why didn't the Lord do something like that? But no, there's many um, many purposes Krishna is achieving by arranging something, by doing something, and we might not necessarily. I mean, even like if you go back to, once again, I think the next chapter to Queen Kunti is the about Bhishma Dev. He was on the bed of arrows, and Bhishma Dev is instructing Yudhisthira in that first canto. And then Yudhisthira was talking to Bhishma Dev on that bed of arrows, and he was still suffering so much mental anxiety from that. All those soldiers, 64 crores, I think it was, 64 crores of people died. So that on that battlefield, 18-day Kurukshetra war, they died so that he could be the king. He could be the emperor. So he put all the blame on himself. So I can be the king. Then all those people died. And all those wives, daughters, mothers became, bereft of their husbands, fathers, and sons and everything. And just, messed up a lot of people like that. So why did God arrange like that? Why did that have to happen? And Bhishma Dev said even the demigods and great sages, they can't understand the plan of the Lord. What to speak of us? We're just a more ordinary human being. So even the great sages, rishis, and devas and everything, they can't understand why God, arranges things in certain ways. It's far beyond our capacity to understand the universal plan. But what we should know is that whatever he arranges is in our best interest. We don't know why, and we don't need to go why. We should have trust and faith that whatever God is arranging is the best. I mean, even that devotee in Radhakund, you know, he was probably doing this, you know, thinking of Krishna constantly, you know, and when the thieves came in his house, he was probably thinking of Krishna constantly. So, and he was in Radhakund, there's actually 100% guaranteed, even by where he was. It says if you die in Vrindavan, you go straight back to Godhead. If you die in Vrindavan, you go back to Godhead. You know, so he died in Vrindavan. He was probably thinking of Krishna constantly in that, you know, terrifying situation. So he went back to Godhead. You know, so is that bad that thieves came in and blah, blah, blah? No. And, yeah, it might seem terrible, but I mean, even look at another thing. Even look at, you wouldn't have come to that yet, Narendra, but in the 12th canto, it talks about how after Krishna left, a few years soon after the Kurukshetra war, then Krishna departed because his plan had been fulfilled and everything. So then after he, yeah, at the time, so Krishna was leaving, and he arranged that all the Yadu dynasty, his personal family, which was like millions of persons, they all fought. They got intoxicated. All those warriors got intoxicated, and they fought amongst themselves and killed each other, you know. And it said they even attacked their own family, like Krishna and Balaram also. They even attacked Krishna and Balaram, and they attacked each other, and they killed each other. So why? That's terrible. They're all devotees. They're not only they're devotees, they're all expansions of personal expansions of eternal associates of Krishna, demigods, took birth in the Yellow dynasty like that. So how the hell was something like that happen? That's just crazy, you know, like that. And then, but it's mentioned there are different purposes. One is that they were all eternal associates of Krishna from the spiritual world, or they were demigods that had temporarily taken birth to help Krishna in his pastimes, and they had to go back home. They had to go back to their homes. Now, how can you make them go back to their home? They're the most powerful persons in the material world. They're Krishna's own family. They are as strong as Krishna. So how can you make them give up their life, their bodies? The only people that could kill them and finish them was each other. No one else is strong enough to get rid of them. So only they themselves can get rid of themselves. So that was Krishna's plan, to wind up all those personalities so they could go back home. And another reason also is that there was a danger that they get proud. I'm Krishna's child. I'm Krishna's grandchild. You know, they become proud of that great, you know, their father, their grandfather, their great origin like that. They become proud. And Krishna didn't want to risk creating another burden. He'd come to remove the burden of Kamsa and Jarasandha and all these proud Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra and all these proud kings. That's why he got all the proud kings together on the Battle of Kurukshetra and removed them, because they're all proud. So he didn't want to leave his own proud family members there and create another problem. So he had to remove them, because there is that danger. Oh, my grandfather's Krishna, he's God, you know, and you become proud, you know, like that. So he wanted to remove them. And the final reason that's given is that Krishna wanted to show that even if you're a devotee, even if you're Krishna conscious, the material world is still a miserable place, and you have to get out of here. Because that's also a danger. We think, oh, I'm a devotee, I'm Krishna conscious, Krishna is protecting me, I'm going to live in the mode of goodness, I'm not committing any sinful activities, I'm going to create a real paradise around me, everything's going to go very well, and I'm going to live happily ever after. No, not at all. The material world is still a horrible place. So Krishna is always trying to remind us that you have to get out of here. I mean, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's father, he compared the material world to a toilet. It means what is a toilet for? You do your business there and then you get out of it. You don't stay in the toilet, do you? You have to get out. You have to just do the needful and then get out. So we develop our Krishna consciousness and then we leave. Don't try to stay here and think I can be comfortable here, I can be happy here. It's not a Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. It's a temporary place full of miseries. So Krishna is always revealing that to us in these different situations. That I'm going to get a house in Vrindavan and then retire there and live peacefully and chant Hare Krishna and like that. No, it's even there. It's difficult. It's difficult. Any comments? Any questions?
This is so funny because I'm sorry, I was a bit distracted, I guess, but when you were narrating Radha Raman Ji's pastime, Sundar Gopal sent a message which popped up on my screen, and it was Radha Raman's photo.
Wow.
I've just shared it on the screen, and it's such a clear picture, and you can see his smiling.
That's far out. What's the chances of that?
Oh, I know, and that's why I said I was a bit distracted after that because I just couldn't stop sending him a message saying, Abhay Prabhu was just speaking about him, and this picture popped up.
Wow, Krishna. And that makes me think that I'm not speaking, Krishna is directing us, That's what we realize the more we become Krishna conscious, that Krishna is in control of everything. He's directing us, according to our desire. If you want to be instrumental, then he'll use you. So that's far out. Thank you for it makes me feel maybe I'm on the right track.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wow. Wow, that's amazing. Jai Radha Raman ji. Glories to Krishna. And that's how Rupa Goswami is going to then take this nutshell information given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then create these massive literatures out of it. Because how does he actually write? It's by inspiration. They get inspired from within their heart by the Lord is dictating to them. The Lord is dictating to them. That's all. And this is in this verse. It's mentioned Krishna Kripaya. This is, I'd say, the main thing. This is the main thing. This is what the essence of bhakti is, Krishna Kripaya. And even like it's mentioned, if you're agya, like Gulshan was feeling, don't have any knowledge like that, it doesn't matter because the main thing is we wanting is Krishna's mercy. And actually, the opposite can be true. The more knowledge you think you have, that becomes an obstacle for your bhakti. It makes it very hard to advance. If we think, I know so much, I know Bhagavad Gita, don't tell me Bhagavad Gita, I'm already knowing Bhagavad Gita. And like that, so many things. I know about yoga, don't tell me about yoga. I know what meditation is, I know about God, I'm this religion, I'm that religion, don't tell me. So the more people tend to think they know things, the more further away they are from Krishna consciousness, often. Not always, but the tendency, see the defect with material knowledge. Now, the knowledge of bhakti is completely different. We can talk about that. But the material knowledge, the disadvantage of material knowledge is that what? What does it do? The more you think you have more material knowledge, the tendency is it makes you feel what? Proud.
Proud.
And as soon as you feel proud, that blocks out any further information from coming in. Because I already know. Who are you to tell me? Like that. So that is a big stumbling block. That's a big obstacle. It's actually better for you know, how Rupa Goswami, how Sanatana Goswami, how they would approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Do you know how they approach them? They're born in Brahmin families. They knew so many languages, Sanskrit, Persian, Urdu, you know, you name it. There's just so great scholars. Rupa Goswami was the prime minister to the Muslim king, Nawab Hussain Shah. Sanatana Goswami was the finance minister. So big positions. But how did they approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, do you know?
With a straw in their mouth.
They keep
With a straw in their mouth, falling down on the ground, on the dirt, and saying, I'm a fool, I don't know anything. You know, completely blank slate. That is how to progress in Krishna consciousness. Then that opens you up to get the mercy of the Lord. As soon as you're proud, no mercy, mate. Sorry. You think you're all right on your own? Okay, you're on your own. I'm not going to help you. But if you're feeling completely helpless and dependent, then he's right there all the time. I need you, my Lord. I need your protection. I need you to guide me. I need you to inspire me. Give me strength. You know, show me the way to go. Give me direction like that. Please be merciful to me. Then you get it all. But if you think you don't need him, then I can protect myself. Okay, yeah, do it. Go for it. Like that. So, yeah, this is the main thing is that what separates bhakti from any other process. If you look at karma yoga, jnana yoga, stanga yoga, any other yoga process, you don't get the Lord's mercy. Nothing. It's all your effort, your endeavor, by your karma, by your brain, your jnana, by your, you know, doing your exercises and breathing and everything like that. It's just you're the only factor. But in bhakti, it's just, you just surrender to Krishna and then he helps. So that's the only process. Bhakti yoga is so wonderful process because even you just completely materially just nothing you have. It's called a kinchana gochara. You don't have anything. You don't have any wealth. You don't have any knowledge. You don't have any strength. Doesn't matter. You got nothing. Then the Lord, he just carries what you lack, you know, and lifts you up like that when you feel in that helpless condition. It's so powerful. So this process, Bhakti Yoga, is so powerful and quick and effective at making spiritual advancement to this point of love for God. Otherwise, love for God, like people hear a Bhakti Yogis say that in this one lifetime you can go back home, back to Godhead. They don't believe. They don't believe. Because in every other scripture they've read, it takes, you know, many lifetimes, hundreds or thousands of lifetimes, slowly, a little bit more perfect next life, a little bit more, you know, 1%, then 2%, 3%, a little bit more. It takes many lifetimes to become completely, you know, detached from the material world and attached to God and everything, and get rid of all the pap and the sins and get more punya, a little bit more punya. So when the Bhakti Yogi says, no, one lifetime, back home, back to God, they don't believe. But Bhakti is completely, you know, transcendental. It's completely spiritual process. It's Krishna's own special arrangement, you know, to create this loving relationships with his souls. It's amazing. You don't want to say anything about that?
Crystal clear.
I just want to make a comment. You know, talking about Ramayana, apparently when Rama was asked to go on exile, it was just meant to be him going on exile.
Yeah.
It was not that Sita was also meant to go with him, but Sita insisted that she would accompany him. And he was not going to take her, but she convinced him to take her.
And the Lakshman says, look, you know what? Can I come on board too?
Yeah. I mean, his whole life was like.
And the Urmila says, what about me?
Actually, the
says?
whole of
Urmila.
I wanted to go
Urmila
with.
was Lakshman's wife.
Oh, okay.
He said, what about me? He said, what do you mean, what about you? You stay here. Just help that your father-in-law, or, and then he went. And
That she was actually tasked. She was actually tasked to sleep because Lakshmana had he had taken on the responsibility to look after Rama. So he made a promise that he won't sleep to protect Rama and Sita.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Urvashi, Lakshmana's wife, she was going to sleep for him too. So she slept. Yeah. Now I don't know how to part this, but it's meant. I mean, I've heard that before. Also, there's some different Ramayanas which talk about that. I'm not sure whether it's mentioned in the Valmiki Ramayana, but it's there in the another Kamban Ramayana. It's mentioned in that one. Anyway.
Thank you. Wonderful. Good class. A lot of learning.
So yeah,
Masika.
mercy, that's what we need. But the more humble we are, then that opens us up to receiving the Lord's mercy. Pride is the most worst thing. It's like poison. Pride is like so poisonous, like that. Actually, the knowledge of bhakti is different. See, that the knowledge a devotee gets is a byproduct of the bhakti. So you serve Krishna, and Krishna gives you the buddhi, the intelligence within your heart. So he's giving you the knowledge. It's not like we're just, like academic scholars trying to know so much stuff to show off what we know or whatever like that. But it's that the knowledge is a byproduct of the bhakti. It's not that the knowledge is needed to get the bhakti, but the knowledge is a byproduct of the bhakti. Does that make sense?
But initially, if you're, say, somebody's really atheist person, he doesn't know. Now he doesn't believe in, taking name of God or anything at the start. So what is the tipping point for him to go into bhakti or to believe in God? I think it's God's system of suffering. Break the pride. That's how God breaks the pride of a person or anybody, is when you suffer, when you really suffer, and then you come to a point where you say, you try to control, but at the end of it, you know that you cannot control things, and then you say, what is going on? Then he might turn to God. But at that point that's one of them. But initially, if somebody is told like this, that you should chant Hare Krishna mantra, I think it'll be very difficult for him. That tipping point is, kind of knowledge is required. If you have knowledge, you understand, or you have faith, basically. If somebody is saying something, it's true, and I should follow that. So then it's like, he's following, and then.
But then again, where the faith come from? If he's the atheist, where did he get the faith from?
What faith means is basically somebody says to him, Shruti. Just a Vedon mein likha hua hai, in the Veds, you have written something, and you believe
that's
it, right?
But if he is complete atheist, how did you get
faith? If you understand the meaning of faith, is you're just listening. You haven't experienced that thing yet, so you believe it. If you don't believe in Krishna and you don't chant anything, then you won't do anything, right? It's faith is basically you're saying, I haven't experienced that, but I've heard from a right source and I believe it. And then you follow the process. So that's based on that, because you haven't experienced it, but somebody said it you follow the process, and you can see the result after that. And that basically, same goes here. I mean, once you understand it, once you start following the process, somebody said something you should chant, you started chanting, and then you see the result. So it's like, you know, it's initially, it's either would be that God's system of breaking our pride by suffer, and then you look for something, and then that is the right time, the tipping point, where you, if somebody says, you know, you try this, then you are open to more, as you were saying, once your pride goes down, then you are open to other things, you know, you're open to knowledge.
Once your
Then
pride go down, yes, you can see things clearly.
Yeah, even he might follow it. Why not try it? Nothing has worked in material world. I should try this. But I think, yeah, knowledge, yeah, and as one's faith increases, he follows the process, then God helps. As I think chapter 9, we have already said that what you lack, I will fill that, and what you don't have, So it's more like, tipping point is more like the whole system is. So suffering is a blessing. I think it's the more you suffer, the more you are going to come close to God.
Because the suffering, the effect of suffering is it breaks down the pride and makes one humble. And when you become humble, then you can hear. Because that's the beginning of the bhakti, is hearing. So, but you can only hear if the pride is brought down and become humble. Then you'll listen, then you'll hear.
Then like you're open to it, you know, then you're willing to look at to other part, or, you know, see your limitations as well. So it's very systematic, you know, God has made very good system. So suffering is not bad, it's good.
No, it's not bad. And going back to what Gulshan said about how is that possible that Krishna could allow the, you know, Muslims to destroy the temples in Vrindavan and disturb the devotees and everything like that. But actually the suffering doesn't affect the soul at all. It only affects the body, right? But we're not the body. That's the first thing we learn, we're not the body. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, all the suffering. But what matters is through the suffering, the pride is coming down, we're becoming humble, we're, like this verse is saying, we're thinking of Krishna constantly. This is important. That somehow through the suffering and so forth, we're brought to think about Krishna constantly. You know, every day people are dying of heart attacks, getting hit by a bus. You know, so many wars are going on. Now there's a new one starting, did you hear? Between Thailand and Cambodia, you know, like that. So all these things are going on, but don't get too disturbed by that. But all the suffering, it doesn't affect the soul at all. That's in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says the soul cannot be cut to pieces. It cannot be cut by any weapons, cannot be burnt by fire, cannot be drowned in the water. You know, it's invincible, immortal, eternal, everlasting, you know, always the same, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, we don't have to worry. You know, the suffering is only affecting the mind, actually. All the suffering is just in the mind. But the soul is beyond, we're transcendental to that. So the soul's not affected by all these calamities. But the beauty of the calamities is that it's breaking down, and now once again the mind, that we're so arrogant and we're so determined to enjoy in this world, and that desire to enjoy in this world is just getting crushed by these calamities and the suffering, and then we eventually just, okay, I have hands up, I surrender. You know, I'll chant Hare Krishna now. And then that's beautiful. That's wonderful. Then that's onwards and upwards. We can get out of here. But yeah, we should never be too surprised or concerned, disturbed by the sufferings we see or hear about. It's just part of the program to get the souls back to Godhead. But it's not affecting us in any way, you know. I mean, we've been in so many different species of life before our bodies now, as Jayanti and Narendra, Gulshan and Abhay. We've been in so many different bodies, and each one of those bodies, we've experienced old age, disease, and death, and then repeated birth again. And it hasn't affected us, you know, we're still going on, you know, so it doesn't touch the soul. So we shouldn't. I mean, in the second chapter, one of the lessons that Krishna gives to Arjuna too, that a wise person is not disturbed. What do you remember that one, Gianty, or any of you? By the living or the dead, the words there. It doesn't mourn. A wise person doesn't mourn. Mourn means like lament or cry for the living or the dead.
Mm.
Because actually, these two conditions, the body is alive or the body is dead, has got nothing to do with the soul. The soul is eternally the same. Sometimes the body is living, sometimes the body is dead, but it doesn't affect the soul in any way. So if someone's wise, like a real, the wisdom that comes with bhakti, realizes that all these different conditions of life and death, are not really relevant, not really important.
But can it not be also seen that if you, I mean, I understand what
We're not promoting killing anyone, of course, but we don't, not like that. But at the end of the day, in the ultimate reality, it doesn't really, it's just an illusion. That's what the Maya is, right? That we're thinking we're the body, and when that death is so terrible or whatever. Yeah, Gianty, you were saying?
I'm just saying that, but it can be seen as being callous if you don't show any emotion and you're just being, you know,
Seen by whom? Other people or
either
Krishna?
by other people or even otherwise, I mean, it's like, okay, I mean, you would still have some attachment or something, but um I mean, it in some ways showing some grief is also healthy, isn't it? I mean, if you just try and stifle it inside you, you could get sick from it.
Hmm. But you might be stifling it because you haven't understood it. And that's why it's becoming stifled, because you're still identifying with the body like that.
I'm
But
just
I
saying,
mean,
it can seem being a bit callous as well. That or
yeah,
everything.
but ultimately it said if you want to go back to Godhead, you have to become callous. Means you have to become detached from the material world. It doesn't mean callous in the sense of no feelings. Doesn't mean that, but the feelings are more directed towards the soul rather than the feelings are directed towards the body.
Mm.
I mean, do you have a lot of feelings towards your shirt? Oh, I love you, so, oh no, someone's ripped my shirt or spilled tomato sauce on it. No, you have feeling for the person inside the shirt, but that's what it's like, oh, this shirt is so important and everything. Oh, don't hurt the shirt and everything. No, if you're callous to the shirt, oh, who cares about the shirt? I'm just going to throw it in the bin and get another one. So, oh, why are you so callous about your shirt? You know what I'm saying?
But the shirt is also given by Krishna.
Yeah, and it'll be taken away by Krishna whenever he wants to.
The shirt is temporary. Eventually, after keep washing and washing, eventually it's gonna get ripped, isn't it?
I mean, we're gonna read in this set, and just the next, we won't talk about it now, but we're gonna read now. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm gonna go to Varanasi, and Rupa Goswami is gonna say, oh, I want to come too, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you go to Vrindavan. And what happens to Rupa Goswami? Is he like really detached and aloof? He falls apart. He's feeling so much separation. Oh, I'm enjoying so much being in your company. This is so ecstatic. And now you're going to leave me? Oh, no, I have to come. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you're going to go that way. I'm going to go this way. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he says that, you have to follow my order, because that's the whole purpose of being a devotee, right? You have to fulfill the order of the Lord. So you have to do what I say, basically. And then Rupa Goswami accepts that, as a servant, I have to obey the order of Lord Chaitanya. But what happens when Lord Chaitanya goes off, he just falls down on the ground. He just falls down completely unconscious. He's just so devastated. I mean, that's the ultimate in
Deprivation.
feelings. But what's that? That's on a spiritual relationship. That is where a devotee has so much feelings for that. You know, that feeling separation from other devotees, feeling separation from the Lord, but not just the body. The body is not important, but we want to develop more feelings on the spiritual level. However, if your parents died, or your kids, or your partner, or whatever, naturally there will be some disturbance like that, and that's normal. And even Krishna displayed that. He met one of his wives was Satyabhama, and when Satyabhama's father, named Satyajit, was murdered, and then Krishna cried. Krishna cried alongside his wife, and and he's displayed those ordinary feelings, and showing that, yeah, that's like normal. But you don't cry forever. You cry for a little bit. And then what did he do? He cried for a little bit, and then he went off and found the person that killed his father-in-law, and then he killed him. Like that. And that person was very fortunate to be killed by Krishna like that. So yes, some grief, even for devotees, will be there. Like in terms of family members dying or whatever like that. That's normal. But yeah, it's very less. It's very less. It doesn't go on and on. Some people, their whole life isn't it? That, someone they loved, or, some people, like, their boyfriend, girlfriend leaves them and they commit suicide. There's just so much grief, but for devotees, it's much less. It's much less. Even, like when Krishna left, I just mentioned, Arjuna was devastated. He was devastated. His best friend, Krishna, had left. But then there's a verse saying there in the first canto that when he remembered Krishna's teachings to him in the Bhagavad Gita, then all the trash in his thoughts subsided. So then when he remembered the teachings, the transcendental knowledge, then he quickly recovered himself, and then he went about his duties as normal, like that. So for a devotee, is very fortunate. We have all this transcendental knowledge, and we use it to help us to get through all these difficulties. And we remember like that we're not the body and we're the spirit soul. What do you think, Jayanti? Possible?
No, I was just playing the devil.
Of course.
Tough questions.
Yeah, but it's for a soul in a woman's body. Naturally, there will be more material attachments. So that's expected, especially in the female body. The material attachment to family and possessions and so forth will be even more stronger. That's why it said that in the male body, because the soul is the same, man or woman, same kind of soul, but the advantages in the man's body, then generally more materially detached. So then that makes spiritual life easier, more materially detached. That's why it said every woman should be attached to a man who is attached to Krishna. So if a woman has married to a devotee husband, and that's very good for that woman, then that will help. She's become attached to someone that's attached to Krishna, and that's recommended. It's very ideal. What do you think, Jayanti?
I think what Mother is saying is that, in practical life, if, say, for example, if you go to a funeral and you start going there and say, oh, you are not this body, that was not body. In terms of practical life, we should be more, at this point, say you went to a funeral of somebody and you start telling them, we are not this body, so they don't understand that part. So how do you actually behave at that point of time? Do you go compassionate, you keep quiet and just follow the process?
Of course, yeah, you should. Yeah.
To teach them.
Yeah, it actually reminds me of, wasn't that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Raghunath Das? Was it Raghunath Das? Saying that internally you be detached, but
externally you show that as though you're
attached. Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
attached,
Yeah, because if you externally appear to be too detached, or you could say callous, then it's going to be hard to function in society, because the rest of society is going to think you're completely a nutcase, So it's going to make you hard for you to have ordinary relationships with function in society. So therefore, it's recommended to the devotee, can externally appear to be just like an ordinary attached person, but internally they're actually very detached.
I think the other thing I was thinking is that, quality of compassion should be on the top of the list. I mean, in any situation, I mean, if we are talking to anybody, compassion should be on the top, so that you are like, you feel what they are feeling, rather than, and at a certain point of time when you see that it's the right time to teach or pass on the knowledge, we have to that it's the right time or not. But compassion can't appear. Okay, not everyone is hooked from the start. They might be.
No, sure, devotee should be sensitive to that. Definitely should be very sensitive to that. Yeah. But I was hearing Prabhupada say, but the real welfare is on the spiritual platform, not on the material. Because if you just build hospitals and give all this material benefits and everything, but it's just temporary. It's not going to last. The person's still going to grow old. The person's still going to get sick, still going to die. Doesn't matter how many welfare organizations are there like that. And he was like criticizing, you have United Nations, but it's becoming more disunited. Every year is more flags. So it doesn't work. You might try to make everything peaceful and everyone healthy and happy or whatever like that, but it's not going to work. It's just the nature of the material world. So he said the real welfare is on the spiritual, level, that you have to try to help people become Krishna conscious.
I think what they're doing is basically fixing the spiritual shortcomings by material, solution.
They're doing a band-aid solution.
Yeah, so they're using stuff to fix the spiritual shortcomings. Basically, that's the.
But as Prabhupada said, and which is true, that the more you try to fix it materially, the more it becomes more messed up. It's just getting worse and worse. So, because we're ignoring Krishna, we're ignoring God. The more you ignore God and think you can sort it out separately, the more deep down in the gutter you're going to end up going. Because Durga or Maya is just punishing us. Why are you not surrendering? Why are you not surrendering to Krishna? Why are you trying to be God yourself? Why you think you're the enjoyer, you're the controller? And she's just smashing us with her trishu, Adi Atmik, Adi Daivik, Adi Bholta Klesha, just punishing us. The more we refuse to, be obedient to Krishna and serve Krishna, the more we're being smashed, So the more, we build all these big hospitals and have all these welfare organizations and everything, but just more and more suffering. It's not getting less, it's getting more. I was just talking to someone, I was just saying, there's so many sick people in the hospitals, even though there's more and more hospitals, more and more doctors, and there's just more and more disease, more and more, people are just dying like flies and everything like that. And and unless and until we take up the real process to surrender to God, then it's going to be like that, We try to, Prabhupada was saying, we try to develop all these counteractive measures for counteract the suffering, but it doesn't work. It's just the more you try to counteract the suffering, the more you end up suffering, like that. So the real process is just to surrender to God.
I'll go, so I'm gonna hang up.
Yeah, no, it's past that time anyway.
Too late.
But we missed out on a couple of weeks, so we've gone a bit overtime today. So please forgive me. And lovely to have Gulshan with us on a Saturday.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you. Lovely to have you. Likewise.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
And
You.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
okay,
Krishna.
thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.